doing work in the area that I'm interested in. And then obviously, if you're participating in some of the organization, bar associations and things like that, those people are great ways to talk to them. And they have LinkedIn groups as well, so you can go on the LinkedIn group if you become a member and see, oh, I maybe want to contact these people.
And so one thing I do is I really like LinkedIn because it, everyone's in the alumni directory. It's like the phone book of alums. They haven't necessarily said, yes, please contact me, although invariably they're happy to be contacted. But with LinkedIn, they are saying, yes, I want to be contacted. I'm available for networking. So it makes it a little bit easier, and they've given you a lot more information because they have essentially their resume right there. And so you might learn something about folks on LinkedIn, and it makes it a little bit easier to approach them because you can be a little bit more knowledgeable about them and what they do. And then I also like to look at their affiliations if they've listed their groups on LinkedIn. That may give you some clues. What are the groups that attorneys I'm interested in? Attorneys who do what I want to do, what do they belong to? And so it might even be listed right there in their LinkedIn profile. And then you can see, are those public groups? Can I join those? So that gives you access to a whole bunch of lawyers in your area of interest. That affiliation then shows up on your LinkedIn profile, so it helps create this image that you are connected in that universe. So there's some very clever ways of using LinkedIn, and we can coach you one-on-one on what might make sense for you, but I would encourage you, if you aren't yet there, to consider joining LinkedIn. We're happy to coach you on that process of developing a profile and how to use it effectively. So do you want them to do?
Yeah, so, well, the last point I'm going to talk about informational interviews in a minute. But if you want to go ahead and fill in the contact section of your little action plan, and,
So to the extent we've given you a couple of tangible ideas for both skills and contacts, we want to make sure you're jotting this down. You may have jotted them down along the way. That's very cool.
so we'll just keep moving.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I said the informational interview maniac, and you're going, how am I going to do that? So I wouldn't freak out. One tip is that start making a list of people that you really want to talk to and prioritize them. And as you do research and you get more people on the list, keep prioritizing and just make it manageable and think about, okay, winter break is coming up. Am I staying here in San Francisco? If I am, are there people I want to talk to here? When would they probably be here? When are they probably going to go away on holiday? And start contacting them now and try to set up a few appointments. So do it in sort of manageable chunks, and then maybe try to do some people, when you get back before you get too busy with spring semester, and then maybe over spring break, and try to make it manageable, but start to do it, because the more people you talk to, the better. And they'll invariably have people that they want you to talk to, and all of these things will really help you, which I will.
I like the idea of having that list because you can show that list to your contacts. So maybe you've done some research, you found some alums through the LinkedIn group or the alumni directory. Maybe take that list and bring it to a professor and say, hey, professor, do you know any of these alums? Who do you think would be most helpful for me to reach out to? Maybe could I use your name in the email? Do you know people at these particular firms or organizations? So if you've already done that base level of research, it actually makes it easier for people to help you. Because sometimes they can't say, well, gee, let me think of the entire universe of lawyers and pull out a name. But if you give them some direction, it helps stimulate their creativity. It also makes it look like you're engaged in this process. If you walk up to someone and say, can you help me find a job? Can you help introduce me to people? But it doesn't appear you've done any of that legwork yourself, they may not be as inclined to help you, but if they see that you're very engaged by this, they'll want to match your effort and help you out.
So I was just going to talk really from a very high elevation, first of all, about informational interviews, because a lot of people do think of them as more a job interview. I'm going in there, maybe they'll offer me a job. And that's really completely the wrong way to look at it. First of all, it makes the person feel very awkward and uneasy, and you should be looking at it as this is somebody that I may have a lifelong relationship with, that they're somebody that's going to be in my field, and I want to find out information from them. And invariably, people that I've talked to, years later, I ended up helping them out, and then they ended up helping me out. So you have to look at it more as you're building a relationship with somebody, and you really are trying to get information from them. You're trying to fill in the gaps on your action plan and figure out what you need and what you need to do. That's the first thing. So it's not a job interview. Think of it as an information fact-finding mission. And so because of that, you're interviewing them. It's not where when you're in an interview, they're asking you everything about yourself. You're really there, and you're kind of putting questions together to ask them and get information from them. And as part of that, do everything you can to make them feel comfortable. Just be totally sincere. Tell them why you're there, what your information you're looking for. And invariably, if people like to talk about themselves, they'll give you lots of information and be very willing to share things with you. What I always did is I would send a very short email, not a cover letter type email, but a very short, succinct email just saying why I want to talk to them. And, I shouldn't take more than a few minutes of your time. Can we meet somewhere near where you work? Maybe have a cup of coffee. If they come back and they say, we're too busy, then would you have a few minutes for a phone interview, or can we set it for a time when we're not so busy? And invariably, people would want to talk to me. So,
one word on that. So students will often say, I've sent an email to someone asking for their informational interview, and I never heard back. Well, have you done follow-up? So the key here is to do follow-up. These attorneys are very busy. They often have the best of intentions. They meant to reply to your email, but they had 3 work emergencies that happened over the course of the day. Your email kind of fell to the bottom of their inbox, and they just forgot. So I wouldn't assume anything from silence. I would encourage you to follow up, maybe do a follow-up phone call. After 2 or 3 attempts, perhaps at that point you decide maybe the time is not right for that person, but I do encourage you to follow up. They're doing you a favor, and so you want to show some initiative.
I was just going to offer a resource on, and I think it's on the LCS website, the questions, the suggested informational interview questions. I use them and I tailor them, and every single person I've ever talked to is like, thank you for being prepared. And so that bullet point about interviewing them, it helped me crystallize what it was. It helps me crystallize what information I'm seeking when I talk to people, to use those questions as a basis.
That's great. We brought the handout with us. We have hard copies of it here, so thank you. We didn't tell Susanne to say that. But I think also using this inventory and the action plan may also help you crystallize what you want to say. You talk about, I don't know what I don't know. Well, maybe even focusing on, what are the skills I need, or what are the things I need? What am I missing? May give you something to focus the conversation on.
and that's when the sincerity comes out. I was going to say, I just had a recent grad do that to me recently. There was someone she really wanted to talk to, and she was freaked out. She said, it's been like 2 weeks and I haven't heard anything. I said, well, just send a friendly follow-up email. And it turned out that the attorney had been on vacation and had gotten sort of buried in their email, and they were more than happy to talk to her. So another thing the tip I have too, is often send the email Sunday night, so it's top of their box Monday morning. It doesn't, you don't want to send it Thursday or Friday morning. It's going to start getting buried. Send it Sunday late, and then it'll pop up on Monday morning. Let's see. So, one last thing. Be sure to send a thank you note. Handwritten is wonderful. People really like that sort of special extra touch, but email's fine too, or doing both is fine. And stay in touch with these people. Again, these are people that you're going to have as part of your professional network, and they're more than happy to hear how you're doing. So if you meet with them in your 3rd year, touch base with them again when you've taken the bar. Touch base with them again when you pass the bar. They're more than happy to help, and you want to stay on their radar. The more they hear from you, the more they're going to be like, oh, Jan, she was looking for a job. I just heard about something. But if they haven't heard from you for 6 months, you're off their radar and they're not thinking about you. So be sure to do that. And when you talk with them, you're asking them a lot of questions about themselves, so you'll know things about them personally. So personalize these emails you send them. How was your trip to Greece? And I hope you had a good time, and your kids, did a lot of swimming like they were hoping, or whatever. And then, tell them what's going on with you in your job search. Let's see. So now we're going to flip to some tips about what information to gather. think one of the best things to do is really start with asking them about themselves and how they got into the practice. What happened to them that they developed an interest in this area of the law? How did they find their position? So you're letting them talk about themselves and about how they ended up where they did. And it's also a good way for you to listen to them about what their career path was and what hurdles they had or didn't have. The next thing is you're going to really be asking them some questions about the field, because there's a lot of things that you want to get out there. Well, one may be that you're not absolutely sure you want to practice in this area, so they'll give you a clear idea of what the practice area is like. They also will be able to tell you about market conditions. What types of areas in this, let's say it's employment law, what types of employment law are people hiring? What are some of the industry trends? What are some employer preferences? What are people really looking for if you want to do this kind of work? Again, where do you have some gaps that need to be filled in? And do you have all the skills necessary? So as they're describing this, and you're asking them questions, you'll be getting a lot of information. Be sure to ask them who else to talk to, because they're going to have all sorts of people that will be helpful. And as the conversation goes on, they'll get a clear idea of who you particularly should talk to. And then again, like Susanne was saying, you can get some of this from LinkedIn, but ask them directly what professional association should you join and why. You may have seen maybe on their LinkedIn profile which ones they're in, but they may have particular reasons why they're in those that you want to sort of get out, which ones are going to work best for you, which ones are you going to feel most comfortable in. There is differences in associations, and I probably recommend if you have several in the area that you're interested in, to go to them without even becoming a member yet, because some of them you'll feel more comfortable than others. Some of them are maybe just strictly, networking, trying to get more clients, and other ones are maybe more inclusive and really helpful. You want to find out which ones you'd like to be part of. And ask them, just be sincere and say, can you give me some recommendations about, what things you think I should do to look for a job? What tips that you have? And well, this is something I wanted to mention too. Don't send them your resume when you ask for an informational interview, because immediately, red flag, they think you're asking for a job. But bring one with you, and as you're talking, it's a great opportunity then for them to say, oh, I'd really like to look at your resume, and give some suggestions. Or if you feel comfortable, pull it out and say, here's my resume, can you go over it and see, if there's things you think I should change, or things you think I should stress more, whatever. They'll have great suggestions. Okay, I think that's it on that one.
So one of the things that is overwhelming about this process is that it just seems fast, right? So we've talked about ways to organize this, and mainly we've talked in terms of knowledge and skills and contacts. But another way to organize this process is by time. And so I want you to have a sense of what do you focus on now, what's more appropriate to focus on next semester, et cetera. So I'll kind of walk you through that. One thing that as Jim was talking that occurred to me is I would use each of these time intervals as a trigger to reach out to your contacts. So maybe at the end of this semester, even if this has never been your personal practice, perhaps you send non-denominational holiday cards to the people in your professional universe. Maybe just a quick card, hope you're well, thanks for meeting with me, I appreciate your support. Signed who you are. Just something quick and simple. It's just an artificial trigger that enables you to put yourself on their radar screen. They have warm feelings about you. Of all the students they meet with, very few are going to do this sort of stuff. And so you have a calendar for the week after finals, you have some time on your hands, send holiday cards. Very pleasant generic ones that don't relate to holidays. It's also a good opportunity to get organized with your contacts and make sure that you have a system to keep track of who you've met with and what they told you and that kind of stuff. And then maybe again, as you approach graduation, you send them another one to say, thanks again for all your